Welcome, everybody, to episode 175 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We are your hosts, Adam, Amy, and Russell Gibson. How you going, Russell?
Good. How are you today?
I'm great. For those that are watching live on YouTube, or they can see that I've caught some sun, would be the term.
I mean, yeah, people at home who are listening on the pod wouldn't have known that without you saying it, but
now
okay.
I've given a visual to everybody.
That's all right. You're looking very golden brown.
Brown or bright red, but goodness gracious.
Basketball-wise, card-wise, what have you been following this week, Ads?
I've been trying not to watch League Pass basketball-wise. My team's not doing so good.
Did you catch any good games this week? Because there was a couple of nice ones, like the Grizzlies-Boston game today was pretty decent.
Oh, did you see that Ja Morant slam? That was
the day after he says, I'm not going to be doing any more dunks.
Yeah, I'm not going to fly through the air and do anything crazy. Oh, wait, I'm just going to fly through the air and do something crazy. That was a sick jam, though. That was really good. No, I tried to have I thought we might have a chance against the Atlanta Hawks, and no, the Lakers found a way to lose it.
The Hawks have been super up and down this year. Like, they've lost a whole bunch of games, but they've also beat some pretty decent teams.
They've beaten Cleveland twice, and they've also lost to the Wizards twice.
That's perfect for the Hawks really this year, isn't it?
That's like the ultimate roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
So when they're at their best, they can beat the best, but there are days where they can't even beat the worst.
I think probably the other shout out we need to do right now is Jokic got 56 today.
56 today.
But the irony is they lost to the Wizards by 9, so that was delicious. Anyway, all right. Let's enough of the small talk. Let's get into it, Ad.
All right, let's hit it. What do we want to start with?
Now, I don't think this is going to be a recurring theme, sort of us reliving your trauma of your eBay escapade recently, but I think let's just really quickly recap it in 1 or 2 minutes, and then we'll move on to this next part, because we've found a bit more stuff online about something very similar to what happened to you. So I think it's worth just mentioning again.
Well, I suppose for me, it gives me a little bit of reassurance that it's not just you. It's not just me.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think it was just me, actually, but it is more rampant than I thought. A few months ago, I did something silly. I flippantly bought thought I bought a very expensive card. That whole
which
running
was
out
raw,
of time,
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was raw. I'm sort of, there were minutes to go in an auction. I didn't have a lot of time to do a lot of research on it. With time constraints, I got a notification. I went, oh, cool. Bidding's up near the $2,000 mark. See if I can get a sneaky bid just over and win this thing. And I did, only to find that it wasn't a real card at all. It was one of those stupid cracked ice things you get on Etsy, like custom-made card that wasn't a kaboom at all. And then went through an absolute nightmare with eBay to get my money back.
Yeah.
And due to a lot of perseverance and doing exactly the right thing and making sure I had dotted my I's and crossed my T's as far as appropriately actioning all the parts of the transaction, got my money back, but we'll be very, very, very careful in the future.
Yes, I think probably for me the key point here is that you bought a fake card and it was quite high up. Like, it wasn't just $20 or $30. So
it wasn't. There were no alarm bells to suggest it was a fake. In fact, it was bid quite a way up, a ways up,
which would make you think it's a genuine card. Yeah, I get that 100%. So
yeah,
I think probably let's just keep that in mind. Let's move on to the second part of this, which is a Instagram account holder by the name of Mac_card collection. And we've spoken about this gentleman before on the show. If you don't follow him, it's very wholesome. I would call it non-controversial, non-clickbait content. So, if you enjoy the content that we do, I would say that you'll enjoy the content this does. But he is very much from the American perspective, not the Aussie perspective. So, it's different to what we do, but it's also very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he came across a listing on Etsy, which was a Kaboom of Wemby, 3 out of 10. It was number 2, and it looks amazing. Like, if you're asking me, it's even like they had problems with the centering of these cards. Even like that printing is off-center too. So if you show that to me, I would not think that that was a $30 ripoff that you could buy on Etsy.
Yeah.
And literally the first thing I thought about was your experience, because even like I'm watching the video in the background as I'm talking to you about this.
I've got the video.
Even the back of the card looks totally fine, and then yeah, super interesting. So one was sold on Probstein. He's showing that for $510. Like that's
Yeah.
way under comps. It does make
Yep.
you wonder if that was a ripoff too.
Yeah.
Selling for $500, really similar to your situation. And then I'll let you comment on this, and I'll sort of move into the third part about this.
So the original one, the numbered one, like
Yeah,
it's
whatever you want to add to the conversation, like please.
But it's literally,
feel free to jump in. Yeah,
it's literally a counterfeit of the original card.
Yeah, sure.
Like there's nothing like custom card about this. The first one, like that's a copy of, like it's a reproduction of the actual Kaboom, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry, I've just missed that. Even the Probstein one, that actually had custom written in it, but someone still bought it for $500. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
It's a $2 piece of cardboard.
Like I understand how hard it is to monitor this stuff. And I obviously had I went on my own little crusade and tried to find all the cracked ice Kaboom nonsense cards that were of Kobe, and reported a bunch of them. Like 2 of them eBay took down, 3 or 4 of them they left up when I put my reports through.
I don't understand their policy on how they manage that, to be perfectly honest.
Honestly, like they don't care.
It's like they get the percentage, they don't care. Yeah.
And it's not that I'm not going to blame eBay for it. What I'll say is the people that own the license, i.e. Panini, why do they care? Their cards are being reproduced or copied because they've already made the money from selling the things.
I think at the end of the day, you're probably hitting the nail on the head. Really, Panini should be the gatekeepers for that, and other companies will be out there protecting their own IP. So,
of course,
it is to me a bit unusual that Panini doesn't do anything about it, or maybe that's just the most Panini thing that can be done. They're not too fussed about how cards get packed into boxes. They're not too fussed about potential hot boxes going out to breakers. Allegedly.
Yeah.
They're not worried about the aftermarket IP infringements that's happening on their products.
How does the aftermarket impact them? It doesn't.
Yeah.
So
it probably helps them. It's just extra advertising, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So the fact that these reproductions have Panini plastered, trademark Panini all plastered all over it.
Yeah.
Like the back of the card is exactly like the Kaboom.
Oh, it's 100%. It's a perfect copy.
It's a scan of it.
Yeah.
But a reproduction. It's ridiculous. But that they let it get away, get away with it. I just don't know how you police this.
Yes, that's the second part of this story. The third part is, and this is just, to be honest with you, a completely coincidental thing that my buddy posted to me. It is a card maker that you can buy off AliExpress for $8,689. And I doubt that my buddy did more than 2 seconds of research into this, or maybe he didn't even research it. It just came into his feed. So
that's insane.
And the quality of the cards that are coming out of that look fantastic. It looks to me like this is where that Kaboom came from. The examples
this is where they're printing that nonsense.
Yeah, the examples they've got up here are actually Pokemon, but looking at them, like it's got all the the beautiful foil, it's got all the holo built into it. It looks very, very schmick.
That's I see they're reproducing game cards. Trading card games.
I think that's Pokemon, but I definitely could be wrong about that.
No, it's not Pokemon. It's some other anime. Pokemon. Yeah, could be Yu-Gi-Oh. Could be One Piece. There's a bunch of different games out there. But seriously, for $8,000,
yeah,
you can just print your own. I thought when you linked it, I thought it was a CT scanner at
first. We've let that dog die, haven't we?
For now.
So look, I suppose I don't want to catastrophize this because that's again not really our jam, but I'm more just wanting to have a conversation about this, maybe highlight to people about this. And I think particularly if you're buying off Temu, Etsy, all that type of stuff, and you're getting a card that's comps at thousands of dollars for $30, it's going to be a fake.
That's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think probably for me, the bigger issue is how do you identify or spot cards that are fake, like at a card show? And let's just say
at a card show, I think it's a lot easier because I admit the fake card that I got, as soon as I got it in hand, I'm like, I knew straight away.
Yeah.
We were talking about counterfeit products. I was talking about it with a friend the other day, and we were at a market, and there were board games for sale, and they were reprints of board games.
Yeah.
And it was like, hang on a second, that's normally $100 board game. Why is it $25?
Yeah. It's
And
probably exactly the same though, Ed.
I bought a $20. I bought, I think it was Secret Hitler or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not the cheapest of games. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I know how the game works.
Probably came from the same factory, you know?
But instead of the printed tokens and plastic and wooden parts, everything's just cardboard and crap.
Oh,
and
right.
It's a reproduction, like it's
Yeah.
a reprint of the game, but it's. And you looked at the packet, and I knew what I was buying in this instance.
Yeah.
But like, imagine like buying a copy of Monopoly and it's all just reprinted crud.
You mean like Monopoly money?
It's quite ironic, actually. I was gonna go to back to the market with Monopoly money to see if I could buy these fake board games with Monopoly money. How do you stop things like this happening?
So I think that Wemby one, for example, I think you need to know what the picture looks like. I think that's the starting point. You need a reference for the card.
Sure.
And I think the last time we spoke about this, that what I was talking about was using the PSA registry as almost your guide for what a card should look like. I'm going to double down on that now because I think just doing that sort of 5 or 10 minutes research into a card, before you buy it, and not that I'm using yours as a case study per se, but I think the thing you spoke about, and this is what's going through my head, is like the amount of time that you spent on researching into that card before you bought it. Like you said it yourself, it was like a couple of seconds, where if it had been a couple of minutes, you had to looked in to the PSA registry, maybe taken a look at it. Maybe that is like one thing that you could do to, prevent this from happening in the future. And so,
without a doubt, I acknowledge that I didn't do my due diligence with regards to the research I did on the card.
Yeah, I mean, which is fine. I'm not making this a personal thing. You know what I'm trying to say, right? It's like, what do you do? Yeah.
And I think the first time we went through it, I completely agree. The PSA register is a great place. But say a PSA 10 of the Kaboom I want is going to cost me $30,000 versus a raw one that's going to cost me $5,000.
No,
do you know what I mean?
No, yes, but what I'm saying to you is you go into the PSA registry, you look at what the cards look like.
Okay, yeah.
Because they have photos on there. So, and I think this is where I'm sort of, going back to this, you use PSA's knowledge and their knowledge base and their resources that have got available to then say, okay, this is what a real one looks like. This is what a fake one looks like. And you know what I mean? You sort of go from that. Like,
yeah.
I think that's the best you can practically do.
I think it's one of those things where maybe surely we know people in the industry that have what you're doing when you're buying a Jordan rookie, because they're the ones that get counterfeited to the point where
I would only buy a PSA Jordan rookie. I think that's
photos only is you're gonna get stitched up, right?
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't even know where to start.
The counterfeits are that good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that's the concerning bit to me, is like, at what point is it? Yeah, do you have to look to grade it? It's a bit scary. I mean, I guess my advice would be it's not all. Not everybody is trustworthy. We have a lot of really, really, really good people in this hobby.
Absolutely.
But there are also some very underhanded people out there that are trying to take advantage of others.
I would say people that are buying printers though, and not hobbyists, I would say they're trying to take advantage of
scammers.
Yeah,
for sure.
Do you know what I mean? I think that's another.
That's a great point. Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, let's tie that off here, mate. Let's go to our first ad break. And actually, I'm a little bit excited about this one. So, we have a new sponsor coming on this week. We hinted at it last week. It is the Melbourne Card Cartel. So, Darren, thank you very much for coming on board and giving us your trust. We're very honored, and we're glad that we can hopefully represent you in the best way that we possibly can. So Darren's basically a repacker. I think that's the best way to summarize his products and his services. Go to the melbournecartel.au and you will find all of his products on there. We're not going to go through everything today because he offers a lot, but the next couple of weeks we'll start to work through all of this.
Unpack it.
If you do use the code COMPTHIS10, you'll get 10% off any purchase that you make there. So that's a very generous offer for our listeners, Darren. Thank you very much for that. He has 4 sports of repacks: NFL, AFL, UFC, and of course basketball. The Hitman range are all $35 a piece, and this is the one that you were talking about. You picked up the Hobby Hangout.
I did.
He is looking in the future to do a higher end one, which is going to be called the El Chapo. And talking to Darren, he takes 3 to 4 months to prep his repack. So keep an eye out for that one. He also runs breaks for his products too. So via his Facebook group, the Melbourne Cartel, and also on Instagram at Melbourne Cartel. And he's also now on Whatnot again at Melbourne Cartel. So check him out on that. I think the thing that was the deal maker for me is the way that Darren does his transparency of his repack. So every card is listed on there.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this last week, and I think for someone to fit our philosophy that we agree with and also, is representing our show, or, we're representing that, I think that was really important to me. So I'm really happy about that. Look, I think let's leave this advertisement here. I think we've talked about it enough, and next week we'll run through all the other things that Darren is, working on at the same time. So again, thank you so much. And listeners, please check out the melbournecartel.au. Adam, how are you feeling, champ?
I'm great. I'm not sunburnt for anyone that is watching, by the way. I see myself on the screen. I'm like, maybe I need some aloe vera or something.
Probably just needed a bit of sunscreen today, mate. You'll be fine. Yeah. Alrighty. So this next segment, we're going to talk about the LA basketball scene at the moment. I think we should talk about this because actually the Clippers are doing really well. They've Paul George left in the offseason. Everyone knows about that.
Yes.
Kawhi Leonard hasn't suited up yet, but despite that, they've still got a very good, healthy record. And James Harden just this week has moved up into 17th all-time in scoring. So I think we should just talk about the Clippers for, say, 5 minutes or so. I think they've definitely earned
5 minutes in the spotlight
of our time. I think that's pretty fair to say. And then we'll go to your beloved Lakers and break them down just a little bit.
A minute? They don't deserve a minute at the moment. Anyway, all right, let's talk about the Clippers.
So for me, the Clippers are really interesting this year because I wasn't expecting them to win 25 games. So for me, they've already completely blown away everything that, that I had expectations for. And I think the little bit of the part for me is where was the offense going to come from and where was their defense going to come from? I think in my head, that's sort of where I was at. And so when you look at them playing, obviously the ball's in James Harden's hand a lot. Like I get that 100%. But I think the other one for me, the standout has been Norman Powell. So I found this really great tweet from him. This is from at Dunk Central. Norman Powell says, no one has an ego in this year's Clippers team. I think this year we have guys who are really team orientated and team focused on both sides of the ball, who are willing to learn, grow, and have the mentality of doing whatever it takes to win. Everybody's coachable and focused on the task at hand. There are no egos. I like the atmosphere. It's been a whole lot of fun. We're playing pure basketball. Actually, I couldn't agree with him. Just, more on that. Then there was another graphics in that same thread from Clutch Sports, 22 points a game from Zubac, 24 from Powell, and 25 from Harden. Like, that's a really good output, from a trio. I think that's really good. The other thing to mention, too, is their standings. They're 14-10. So in an absolute diabolical West, that is an insane record for a team that's essentially, broken, injured, had, pieces, basically walk away for nothing. I think that's a really great.
They were practically stripped bare, and it was Harden and a bunch of not second stringers, but pieces.
100%.
It was
There's
Harden
nothing wrong
and
with
pieces.
saying that, man. Yeah,
but it was Harden and key pieces.
Yeah,
because they lost their stars and Kawhi's injured. So
yeah, I mean, when you look at the rest of this roster, man, Mo Bamba, Bones Highland, Chris Dunn,
but there are all these there are all these players that are shown Tucker, a little bit, but
Kai Jones that came off the scrap heap, Norman Powell, he was a throwaway.
Yep,
he's only 24 years old. That kid.
Interesting.
Sorry, hang on a second. Norman Powell, he's 31 years old.
31. I was going to say who's the young one? Bones.
Nicholas Batum, Derek Jones Jr., which actually I don't mind him at all, and Kevin Porter. So another guy that they've claimed off the scrap heap too.
Maybe they've become good at recycling.
Amazing. The world leaders in recycling.
Recycled players, that is.
All right, let's talk about some cards. James Harden, I'm not going to go to his rookie card. I'm going to go to his 2018 Kaboom PSA 10. Population on this is 23. Last sold for $787. Now, if you look at the all-time sales on this, the first few, this is in 2020, was trading at about $100, and then it absolutely skyrocketed up until that sort of $600 mark, and it sat there for a while. Then it dropped right off into late 2023 down to 300, and then skyrocketed up to 850, and then it was down again back into sort of the 500 mark. Now it's right back up again. So look, I think kabooms are really valuable. I think I'm going to keep going on like this, like an absolute broken record, pretty much until
I do too.
think
as
I
long
die.
as they're genuine, as long as they're real.
This is PSA 10, so I think that's fine.
I know. I'm just still a bit sad. Yeah, no, kabooms are a great investment. So
yeah, I think this is a really good example of, I don't think Harden really has that much hobby value, and he's a great player. He's 17th all time in the scoring, all that type of stuff. But
yeah, but I mean, yeah, Harden has never been a hobby favorite.
Definitely not. You might actually argue the opposite.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Lakers and Heat box score from the other day. You're going to love this. 134-93. There was a whole bunch of stuff that came out in the media after this game about, trade rumors, and they had the thing about no one's taking accountability on the court, but JJ Redick is, and they need someone to step up and take accountability. Interestingly, LeBron said he was going to do that, and I actually wonder if this is the perfect example of when a coach and a player actually have synergy, and considering that LeBron hired this guy, you would hope he's going to stand behind his coach. I actually don't care.
I think LeBron. I saw a very dejected LeBron in the post game for the interviews for this.
Oh, they got their asses kicked. It was
they got absolutely.
I watched that
flogged.
for 5 minutes and turned it off. It was nonsense. Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
but the one thing I did notice, and LeBron was just straight down the line. He said, "What did JJ say?" He was like, "Oh, they said X, Y, Z." He goes, "Well, that me too." He was like, "Don't try and sow the seeds of discontent and all the rest of it. Whatever the coach says, we're in."
Yeah,
and there is. Look, there. Don't get me wrong. I think there actually is some disconnect there. That's funny, given Dalton Connect is the.
We are going to talk about Dalton Connect. Don't you worry about
that. The bright light in Lakertown.
Yeah.
But it is like Anthony Davis has gone from like an MVP level start to the season to being a complete and utter dud. I think
that happens in
someone
said
AD stands
season.
for all done.
Can I be honest with you?
I'd never seen a superstar with a sub 10-point performance.
The problem with the media cycle that we live in is that they think every day is, Christmas Day, when in fact, actually, when it's an 82 game season, if you lose 20 games, it doesn't matter.
True.
You're still a 60-win team. Do you know what I mean? And so this is the part where I'm kind of like, hang on a second. Let's do the coach pop philosophy here, and
yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. I don't know. I don't think the wheels are as off as the media think. No. But there's definitely some issues that they need to work out quick smart, because their defense is absolutely atrocious.
At times, definitely, they're a defensively challenged team. But if you actually break down and look at their roster, is it that surprising that they're defensively
when they put the
challenged?
Defensive lineup out, their offense is terrible. Like they've got to find that balance. And I think the fact that they're getting injuries is a struggle.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Kobe Gold Prism is the next in the lineup. I thought we'd talk about this, considering we're talking about the Lakers.
The Lakers?
Now, you froth over a color match. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at with this bad boy here? For those listening at home on the podcast, this is a 14-15 Prism Gold, BGS 9.5. I'll put all of these cards into the links, guys. If you go to the podcast description, click on it, you will be able to see this card as we're frothing over this on air.
I tell you what, it's actually so perfect. Annoying that the gold is like numbered to 10.
Okay.
Because it's so unattainable for my color match.
Yeah.
Habit wanting to color match. I mean, I'm sure there's a purple. Is there a purple? I don't know.
I don't think in that year.
Not in that year. Might not.
14-15 was before they had the 16,000 rainbow colors. Yeah,
all the different ones, but. Yeah, that's a beautiful. It's a splendid card.
Alrighty, let's take it back to today's modern day team. So Dalton Connect is playing really well. 17th overall pick. 2 weeks ago had career high of 37 points, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, 75% from the field in this game, and 75% from 3. So I think there's going to be a lot of hobby love for this guy, and rightly so. He's playing really well. He's playing on a team that has a winning record. I mean, let me check. Yeah, they're 12-11 at the moment, so yes, they have a winning record. and he
Yep.
plays for the Lakers, so you're always going to pay the Lakers tax on that. I
Yeah.
think my issue with Dalton Connect, though, is his age. He's already 24 years of age. And I think for a reference point, Pat Williams, who plays for the Bulls, is not yet 24 years of age. And
That's
so
a good point.
yeah, I think that's the way you have to almost remember this. So it's like, are people heavily investing in Pat Will at the moment? No, they're not. Like, they're over this guy, he's sort of, up and done. So what I was interested to look at, though, was sort of get a bit of an idea of where he is currently at in the market. And so it's really tough at the moment because nothing professional has come out. Hoops isn't out yet. Don Russ isn't out, on and on and on.
Hoops is what, end of January, early Feb? Is
I
that?
don't follow the release schedule anymore, mate, because it's so cooked. Even if they tell me it's going to be out in December, it's going to be out in March anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean? Like, when the breaks start popping up, okay, great, Hoops is out. Cool.
We're getting to that dangerous point where there's going to be an overlap as well.
I don't know how Panini's going to manage this because I couldn't imagine Fanatics
Are they going to down tools and stop production at any point and just go nuts stuff it? Surely not. They're just going to dump products onto the market.
I think what's going to happen is that 10 products are going to come out in 10 weeks. I can't imagine anything else is going to happen.
Bang. Yeah, okay.
Because I couldn't imagine Fanatics will let them produce cards outside of the agreed time. They haven't exactly played nicely with anyone. Anyway, so what is out, though, is 2023 Bowman University. Now, this is, to me, really interesting. So this is PSA 10, gold number to 50. It's sold for 230 USD. Another one, this is raw, this card. Again, Bowman University. Number to 150, this sold for 18 USD. This one is number to 50, that's sold for 88 USD, and that's got a print line on it. A green number to 299 sold for 35 USD. Look, this is not even pro stuff.
This is, okay.
I think the chase is going to be on for this kid. So I think it means, one of two things, that the PYT price for Lakers is going to be high, and I think the after sale for the Dalton Connect stuff is going to be, the flip is going to be there at the start.
The flip will be real.
I think for me, the question is do you buy into this kid? For me, this is a little bit of a stay away because I think you could use Kyle Kuzma as a really good comp for this guy.
Well, he was Summer League MVP, is a 4-year man out of, was it Utah that he played university? But
you talking about Kuzma?
Kuzma was 23 or 24 when he came out.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I think he's a great comp. And I got burnt on Kuzma, but yeah. I had some,
in terms of
rookie stuff.
Talent,
yeah,
I would probably say Kuzma's probably got a little bit more talent. I think obviously Connect is a better shooter, but it's the same thing of like a forward. He's in Los Angeles. Now you look at the Kuzma prices. Let's just take out the COVID stuff because I think that's unreasonable. And let's take out the first sale because it was $500.
Yeah.
But after that, it sold for $300. Then it went all the way down to $100. And now he had a bit of a resurgence. It's back up to $100.
What's his, Kyle?
Kyle Kuzma. Now it's trading at basically $10. This is for his rookie silver PSA 10. Look, I get the feeling that Dalton Connect is going to end up very similar to what Kuzma is probably doing at the moment. And let's just say it's double current comps and it's a $20 or $30 card. I think that's the future.
If he grows into the shooter that, like, he lives up to his potential, you think?
I think for me, the thing about Dalton Connect is not so much his shooting. I think he's a finished product at this point. He's come into the league as a fully formed pro and he is playing really well. It's more about, can he fit into a system?
Yeah.
Is he in a system that wants to use him? And then obviously defensively, that's the other thing. Like realistically,
he's got to learn defensively because that's obviously that I was talking about the Lakers' deficiencies just before.
I think physically, he's not going to be able to keep up with elite NBA forward scorers. And I'm not throwing shade at this kid. I think that's just being practical.
Okay.
Like, that's not his game,
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah. Alrighty, I got 2 more cards to talk about for you. So I found a well, technically not a Lakers card, but it is LeBron James. 2017 Panini Cornerstones, Downtown.
Ooh.
PSA 9, pop 7 on this. This last sold for $13,000. Hang on a second. What am I saying? It last sold for $1,800. The market cap on this is $13,000.
Yeah.
Please excuse me.
But yeah, that's a beautiful. I mean, it's an interesting pose for a downtown shot. You look at the card.
I love the downtown.
It looks like but it looks like he's going for a layup, like the action shot on that card.
Yeah, a layup or maybe like sort of a mid-range.
He did. It was a shot
Yeah.
like that against Atlanta yesterday that he took the three and it went in. But anyway, it just reminds me of that shot. Oh, it looks like a layup. Anyway.
Last Lakers talk, and I am absolutely frothing over this. This is the In-N-Out Burger Lakers jersey concept. I really, really hope that this happens one day, because that is just amazing. I have had the good fortune of going to In-N-Out Burger, and it was a nice experience. I can't say it was like the best burger I've ever had, but I would buy one of these. I would wear one of
It's
these.
like McDonald's sponsoring.
I mean, that's the play, isn't it? That they would then sponsor them at the same time. Maybe that will be why it will never happen. There'll be a bigger sponsor that will hold this back. How freaking good is that, though, man?
It's pretty funny. I think the sponsored jerseys are a cool idea.
Yeah, I think there's some opportunity for this, right?
Do you know what I mean? Like, what is it? Who's on the Lakers jersey? I don't even know. But you know what I mean? Like, there are different companies that sponsor different teams. It's gives imagine the sponsor had their own jersey.
Yeah.
Surely that's and it's a sponsor night. You do one game a year or two games a year.
Yeah.
But it gives you an additional jersey to put into circulation.
Well, there's something like this, and then in WNBA, there's Angel Reese, who's sponsored by Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
We need more of this stuff. Honestly, I think that would be really cool. Can you think of any off the top of your head that would be a good, like, fun one to do? I'm putting you on the spot here.
Oh, goodness. I don't know, like a car company maybe, like a Toyota one or something. Yeah. It'd be something different. I don't know.
I'd love to see like a player get sponsored by a gentleman's club or something, wild like that. Or, Zion gets sponsored by like a fried chicken place. I want our podcast to be sponsored by a coffee company. And then we can spruik coffee, advertise coffee, and then they would give us free stuff. This is like my ultimate dream. In fact, I'm going to contact some coffee companies this week. If anyone is listening to the show and you work for a coffee company and you're interested in some sponsorship, please reach out to us. I am so down for this. Alrighty. Speaking of sponsorship, we are going to go to our next ad break. Adam, let's do Fast Break Trading Cards. Thank you very much to Alvaro and John at Fast Break Trading Cards. In true You Can't Comp This fashion, we had a 10 show advertising agreement, and we went up to 14 before we realized that we'd gone way past our agreement. The lads have actually put the ink back onto the contract, and they're back for another 10 episodes, which will essentially be 6 more, but, we'll work all that out at the back end. So thank you so much, lads, for sponsoring us. FastBreakTradingCards.com. Huge range of everything. Sports trading cards, fanatics, authentic memorabilia, entertainment, TCG, Disney, Lorcana, Pokemon, One Piece, Star Wars, supplies, grading. Now, I'm just having a look at this. Pre-order trading cards. Let's go and check this out, Ad. Alrighty. If you are interested in Pokemon TCG, Scarlet and Violet 8.5 Prismatic, they are currently $100 for the Elite Trainer Box.
Nice.
We have got here the Booster Bundle for $60 a piece. Now, if you want a little bit of soccer, 2024 Topps MLS Chrome Soccer Hobby Box pre-order for $235. Funnily enough, I was actually watching a video on Instagram today because now that Messi has gone across,
the
MLS stuff is definitely doing a lot better and people are starting to collect it. So that's kind of a cool one. Unfortunately, no NBA is for pre-order at the moment, but let's see what they've got for basketball. Here we go. Mosaic NBA Basketball Blaster Box for $90. They've got Donruss Optic Blasters for $65. Fast Break 23-24. So obviously that's Wemby year. Optic Fast Break for $600. So that's all pretty reasonably priced, lads. Get down, support them. They are definitely doing all the right stuff for the hobby. Thank you so much for your sponsorship, guys. We really appreciate it. Alrighty, we're back. And we are going to say happy birthday to Giannis. Would you like to sing happy birthday to Giannis with me?
I'm not singing happy birthday to Giannis.
Okay, it was kind of a joke, but I'm glad you called my bluff on that one. Alrighty, this is from @BallIsLife. Happy 30th birthday, Giannis. At age 18, he was 6'9" and 190 pounds. And I think in Australian talk, that's around sort of like 80 to 85 kilos. At age 30, he is now 6'11" and 243 pounds. NBA 75th team, NBA champion, finals MVP, back-to-back MVP, all NBA first team the last 6 years, defensive player of the year, and his 2K rating is 98. I feel as though he's a little bit of a unspoken about star, and particularly the last couple of years when you can definitely make the argument that the Bucks have underachieved. And
yeah.
we talk a lot about Jokic on this show, and we probably do need to talk about Giannis a little bit more, considering the stuff that he's doing.
Is it Giannis though? Like, I mean, obviously we don't give him the credit he deserves, but is this a case of the lack of team success or the disappointment of the team impacts the player? Does it taint the view?
I think for me, the problem with this is actually easy for me to say.
Yeah.
I think the problem is the market that he's in. He plays for the Bucks. And so they're not in the everyday news cycle. And so, for example, the Lakers get blown out by the Heat and there's 15 minutes on ESPN. I mean, even we spoke about it this week, which is probably not a fair thing to say because we're not big on going with the trends, but it is reasonable for us to mention that this week. And so I think that is definitely part of it. And maybe the Bucks make the news cycle on ESPN when they fire Doc. You know what I mean? Like
they did.
Sorry, they fired Adrian Griffin last year. That's probably so I don't know. Look, I think that's the way I sort of perceive this. Now, really interestingly, if you go to his Silver PSA 10 rookie, go to Card Letter, go to the all-time sales data. This actually started at $1,000, which to me is fascinating. So whether there was more sales points before that and Card Letter just didn't make data, that could definitely be true. Yeah. Now, this went up to $42,000 in COVID.
What?
It went down and went back up again to 40K, and now it's just on this very steady downhill. It last traded at 5,500. I'm going to direct comp this to Jokic. I know Jokic's trading at the moment around 2,300. That's actually really good context, isn't it? And when you say it like that, it makes Jokic really undervalued.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar resume when you think about it.
I mean, Jokic just got him on MVPs.
They've got the same amount of championships. Similar sort of market too, Bucks in the East, Denver in the West.
It's interesting. Do you think the trajectory is going to stay the same with Giannis though?
I'm looking at this trend here, and so if you go into the last year, he's down 58%.
He's 58%. It's down from
7,000
from 13K to 5.5.
So in my head, there's no reason for this to really turn around and start going up again. Like I actually think 5,000 is very reasonable, but I also think it's quite high. So I can understand why people would be getting cold feet a little bit and flipping this out. Particularly when you can get two Jokics for the same price. Like,
for sure. Let's be real about that. That's
look, I think
it's a tough one for me. For me, it is a tough one because I think Giannis has not been forgotten, but because of the lack of success, people have written the Bucks off.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, they've come good.
The Celtics are getting attention. I think that's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Cavs have been really good this year. They're 21-3 at the moment. That's fair enough. The Magic are a fun story this year, even though we've got some bad Magic news.
I was going to say there's some bad Magic news coming up, isn't there?
Hey, we were shitty on the Hawks before. They're 13-11 at the moment.
They're actually not terrible.
They're 5th in the East.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Bucks had a really slow start. They're actually on the last 10 games. They're 7-3. So
they're actually they're on the rise. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Yeah.
Yep.
Lost a couple, but yeah, they're not down the bottom where Philly are.
No. This next one is actually from Market Movers app. Now, this is a summary of some of the top Giannis cards sold. So this is his gold rookie to 10, BGS 9.5. That sold for $528,000. This next one is the black. So I'm going to go out into a limb and say that's a 1 of 1. That's his rookie autograph with a sticker on it. How that happens is like perplexing to me. $384,000 for the BGS 9.5. This is his vertical National Treasures RPA to 99, BGS 9.5, sold for $318K. Look, so funny to me. I feel like this order is almost back to front. I probably like the NT the best out of all of these.
Really? The gold? I don't know. The gold I like. The 1 of 1's tainted by that sticker. You're right.
But the gold is amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that should be $200,000 more than the NT.
The NT's numbered to 99, but that's a chunky, beautiful patch, though, isn't it?
And it's a 9.5 too. Like, it's quite hard to gem those. Anyway,
I think long term you're right. Like, I think down the track that one will sell for more as long as Giannis succeeds again.
Interesting. I really struggle with those numbers because in my head, it's like Monopoly money, you know?
Very much so, yeah.
It's crazy stuff. Alrighty, let's do one more and we'll go to our last break. Now, this might be done and run, so this might have been too late, but I've had this sitting in the sheet for a couple of weeks now. This is from Slab Stocks. This is about Cooper Flagg, who is just lighting the college arenas on fire at the moment.
Yeah.
Projected to be the number one pick in 2025. He's going to be number one pick. Even if the Wizards get the number one pick, they can't muck this one up. They're going to pick him at number one.
Yeah, I agree.
His first Bowman University card is now releasing. So very similar to that USA basketball release that they did.
Yep.
One lucky
Interesting that I've heard nothing about the
Yeah. I think also the advertising on this has been a little bit weird. So maybe it hasn't come out yet and I'm worrying about nothing. One lucky buyer will receive his sneaker patch autograph 1 of 1 in the order. How many base cards do you think they were bought? So what that's referring to is last time you had 1 or 2 weeks to get your orders in, and that's however many orders in was how many base cards they would make. So they were making them to demand, and then they'll randomly then put in inserts and autographs into it. And then in this instance, they're going to put a patch autograph into it too.
So clever. They're testing the water. This is so clever.
I actually have no problem with this because they're giving people...
not problematic.
Yeah. They're giving people what they want, and they're making a product that people want and people chase. Kind of the cool thing too is that if only 1,000 orders got put in, then it's like 1 in 1,000 chances of getting a 1 of 1. Like that also appeals to me too.
But even if with holograms and variations and all kinds of things,
yeah, that's right.
It's credit where credit's due. This is a really smart move.
Yeah,
I think this is one of the things that Topps will do well, and I don't think Panini did it well.
No, definitely. They completely dropped the ball. They were just base cards.
It was trash.
Yeah.
This is that product done right.
Absolutely.
And you're right with they're making it to demand, so they're not putting junk onto the market. Can you imagine how many packs of Bowman University you'd have to buy to satisfy that need?
Yeah.
They're not. They're just making the one player.
Yeah, that's right.
So they're actually not overproducing. I mean, sure, you're putting a lot of it into the market, but then you've got your the value becomes the parallels and the 1 of 1.
Yeah.
So they're actually being rather clever with the way they're making products. I think they'll keep doing this.
Oh, no doubt.
They'll move the needle a little bit to see if different things work.
No doubt. This is just the beginning. Yeah.
But I think it's a really good start, and it's a great idea. Enjoy it. Yeah.
Last time I didn't go in it because I said I don't collect Team USA, so I'm not interested. But I had massive FOMO when people started to get their packets back. I'm definitely buying into this. And
you're buying Cooper Flagg?
Well, actually, I quite like college products. I like the price point entry.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's a good way for me to educate myself because I don't watch college, so I have traditionally used that product to educate myself and get my head around the names and start looking at people, stuff like that. So definitely I'll be going into this. I know I'm not going to get an autograph, but it'll still be... I saw the fun that people had opening their packs, and so I'm just like, I want in on the action.
You want to get some of that.
Absolutely. US Sports Cards Australia, thank you so much for your ongoing and long pledge support. It's going to be at least another 6 more months. I am going to talk about Ross's water pistols because in Australia, if you're listening in the Northern Hemisphere, it is hot as anything down here. USSportsCardsAustralia.com.au. Go to his section. If you go on the 3 noodles, click on toys, it will take you straight to the water pistols.
The
All right,
Jet
here we
Soaker electric water guns.
That's the one. $15 a piece. You can get it in blue, red, orange, and pink. It is battery powered, USB charged, automatic induction water absorption burst water gun. I mean, look at this. Like when I was a kid, it was just kind of like a bit of a squirt. Now they've literally powered up. So yeah, check it out. Great for your summer hot days to keep you cool. Ross will make sure that your order gets delivered to you perfectly.
My favorite's the red one.
Okay.
Looks like the Flash. The lightning looks like...
All right, I know what to get you for Christmas now. All righty, mate. We are back. How are you doing?
I'm good. Ready for the final stretch?
Yep. And let's talk WNBA right now. There is a WNBA expansion team on the horizon. I'm really excited about this. I think this is great for women's basketball. I think this is really good for the the worldwide spread of it. And I also like that they're going to, say, Canada, but I'd like to see them go even further than that. I'd like to see them, say, go to London or go to Mexico, something like this. Like, they've already done some experimental stuff with WNBA, like have a team in the Aces, in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And so I think that has to be on the horizon for NBA. To me, that's an absolute home run, no-brainer, all the rest of it. So
Vegas will be the expansion for the NBA at some point.
they have to be. Especially now they got gambling. Like, just, why aren't they there,
So the Raptors have a sister team now.
Yeah.
They've got the Toronto Tempo and the Toronto Raptors.
Perfect. What do you think about the name Tempo? We were talking about this in the group chat the other day. People weren't a fan.
It doesn't seem very easy to represent in mascot land, that's for sure. I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit 50-50. I would have called them like the Tornadoes.
Are there tornadoes in Toronto?
No, but it's similar. But you know what I mean? Is there thunder in Oklahoma City?
I think a lot of it.
Probably. I don't know. Sure, I've never been to Toronto. Who knows?
Yeah. They could have
Maybe
done
that's why they got the tempo, because that's all there is. It's just tempo.
Maybe, yeah.
Everything's just tempo in Toronto.
Alrighty. Our next talking point is about Nebulas. And so this is an article from Alt XYZ Official. And basically, I'm not going to read through all this because it'll just take a little bit too long. And I want to keep this a little bit snappy. He's basically making the argument that the true one of one has now become the Nebula. And part of the reason for that is because the other one of ones are black.
Ooh, okay.
Black can also be other numbered cards too, and that they've basically diluted down the black by cross-printing or cross-making other cards that cards also have black but aren't one of one. So I kind of get what he's saying, and I think that the Nebula is iconic, but for me, where I'm sort of not fully on board with this is that it doesn't come out of the true hobby product. And so where I'm going with this is that the Nebulas come out of choice. They don't come out of the huge hobby box that, maybe more people are familiar with that you've opened from Prism. So
that, I have to say, I've never pulled a black or a Nebula. But yeah, I think the fact that it's in choice, it makes it problematic.
If you pull one, but it's not for you, it's for someone you've done in a break, have you technically pulled one, or have you just handled it for somebody else? I feel like that's always a technicality for me.
You pulled it at a break. It's not your card.
Yeah, it's definitely not my card.
You ripped it for sure. Yeah,
ripped it in a break, and that's what I can say, isn't it?
Yeah. So you ripped one. Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to this post. We've segued as always.
Yeah, I like the undertone of what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
But until the Nebula is in a different product, I would say it can't really be the flagship one of one. And I think in this day and age where there are more one of ones than there are parallels, the having a flagship one like the Nebula makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Look, I think he makes a good argument. I'm just not 100% on board with it. I think where this came into his mind is the Jalen Brunson one that sold for $96,000. Like, insane numbers on a pretty middling guy, I think, if we're being honest about this.
Yeah.
He then went back and summarized a whole bunch of other sales. So in 2022, that's Steph Curry, Nebula, obviously not a rookie in this instance, but that sold for $144,000. Now the Luka Doncic one, that sold for $40,000 in 2018.
But 2018, can you imagine how much that'd be worth now?
That's right, yeah. So if you comp that to the Brunson, you say it's worth at least 5 times a Brunson, right? At least. So you're talking $500,000. You would expect that to currently sell for.
Hell of an investment, isn't it?
Yeah. The other one that he had in his video, but I can't find the price on it, was the LaMelo ball. And I think, again, if you're comping that to the Brunson, you would expect that the ball would go for more than the Brunson.
Oh, yeah. I think ball's a risky one.
I know it is. The ball is a rookie card. Yeah, so definitely that should go for more than Brunson. Yeah.
Is it Brunson a rookie card, though?
The Brunson's a rookie, yeah.
I don't know. Currently, I'd say Brunson's probably ahead.
Wow.
Well, Ball's been injured, and he's playing for the second worst team in the East.
Okay.
I'm saying eventually, unless something turns around in Charlotte, this kid's going to be playing he's going to be a great player on a shit team for a while.
I feel like this is actually a really good talking point.
Okay.
We need to do a poll on this week, and then we'll revisit this again next week, honestly, because I off the top of my head, I don't agree with it. But then the more I think about it, I get what your argument is and what you're trying to say.
Yeah, but that's it, like the injury, like the curse of being a ball. Like Lonzo's obviously cooked because of his injury history, but
Yeah.
LaMelo's back. But if he plays for Charlotte, he's really probably not getting any props for anything.
Like Brunson's a little engine that could. He just sort of keeps motoring along, and his hobby value just slowly trickles up. Whereas I think Ball's got the higher ceiling, but yeah, he's also.
But I don't think playing in Charlotte's going to get him to the roof.
Yeah.
To sort of out of context talk about something Michael Jordan said.
Yeah.
He's not finding a ceiling there in Charlotte.
No. All right. We are going to talk about the Pelicans, but we are not going to talk about
their injuries.
We're going to talk about injuries, but we're not going to talk about a person with the initials Z and W, because I promised, and I'm trying my best not to mention his name, and then I just typed his name in when I was supposed to be typing in Herbert Jones. This is going to kill me. I know I'm going to muck this one up, but bear with me, peeps. Alrighty. This is from Bobby Marks at Bobby Marks42. I've already told you guys to follow him on Twitter already. If you haven't done that, full on you. But if you want to follow him, he is absolutely amazing. Alrighty. New Orleans drops their 8 straight games, now 4-17. Here are their trade assets entering December. Brandon Ingram at $36 million. Person who won't be named at $36 million. CJ McCollum at 33. DeJounte Murray at 29.5. Herb Jones at 13. Jordan Hawkins at 4.5. There's a couple more down the bottom there, which we won't talk about. Trey Murphy, the third, with a poison pill, which basically means that when you trade them, their salary goes up by $5.1 million. That's the best way to say it. Okay. Not eligible is Alfred Payton. They actually waived him yesterday, so he is gone.
Okay.
Draft assets. This is what I want to talk to you about. They own their first in the next 7 years with an asterisk. If it's 1 to 4 this year, it'll go to the Bucks. In 2026, they have the right to swap with the Bucks. So Milwaukee, or does that mean that they'll get the Bucks pick?
But they own their first pick, plus they own the 2025 Milwaukee pick.
Maybe that's what that means.
And they have the rights in 26 to swap with Milwaukee.
Oh, geez. Okay. For a second, I was really confused and also concerned at the same time. All right. So their record at the moment is 5-19. They are currently the worst team in the West at the moment. They're not the worst team in the East because the Wizards are in existence. But I almost have got the feeling now they're going to tank. And if they're going to tank, they'll make some trades. I can't see any...
I don't see any upside to the Pelicans.
Secondary scenario playing out here. Like, now they're in this point. They're not going to make it back into the playoffs. The West is just an absolute nightmare. There's always one team per year that the wheels fall off, and it's the Pelicans.
They can replace Zion with Cooper Flag.
Yeah, you said his name, not me, by the way. Like I'm trying my hardest here to keep out of this. I think Ingram, he demanded $50 million, so they've already put him on the trade block. That's public knowledge. That's not even.
Yeah, they're not prepared to pay. Yeah.
The funny thing is, CJ McCollum, DeJounte Murray, I don't reckon there's going to be that many takers for those two guys. Like, they're kind of like really heavily paid Dalton Connects. You know what I mean? Like, you know what they are. They're shooters and scorers. I mean, DeJounte Murray can play a little bit of D, but they're not particularly great defensive players.
$29 million for DeJounte is just,
It's out of this world, isn't it?
Yeah. And even the Lakers can't make an offer.
Mm.
What do you do? Gave up Gabe Vincent and D'Angelo Russell to get DeJounte?
No,
Pelicans
I don't think so. That. I hope not. So I think we should talk a little bit of card value here. So I've been talking about Herb Jones for a little while. His value really hasn't moved up at all. In fact, it's probably might have even gone down a little bit. Yeah. I found a couple of cards here. The Herb Jones Dragon from Optic Choice, that sold for $35 USD. That has got an absolutely monster print line across it. So that's probably why it sold for so cheap. The Prism Red, this is raw, numbered to 299. This is, again, his rookie card. That was for $6 USD. That's actually a really good buy. I'm a little bit jealous about that.
Pick up there, yeah, for sure.
I think the other one to talk about too is Trey Murphy. I think that he has got a lot of potential. And I feel like when you talk to people about the prospects on the Pelicans, you're either Trey Murphy or you're Herb Jones. So let's just, cover our two bases here. Trey Murphy, 21-22, numbered 23 out of 35.
Okay.
What's the PSA numbering on this? I can't really read it. Maybe it's 9. That sold for 81 USD. Now, this is his PSA 10 optic silver rookie card, and that sold for 20 USD, which is probably about the same price that Herb Jones is selling for at the moment, actually. So they're pretty comparable at the moment. Look, I'm probably cooling off a little bit on Herb Jones because I was hoping for a bit more fireworks this year. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
But I also think too that the Pelicans situation at the moment is pretty bad. So you can play this in two ways. You can say, look, so we're talking about Herb Jones at the moment. You can say, look, he's all defensive team the last couple of years already. He's definitely becoming a better shooter, a better playmaker.
Yeah, I can see that.
You might say, look, now is a good
Yeah.
opportunity to buy this kid, how bad the Pelicans are. And also, they're not going to be motivated to win this year, like at all.
Yeah.
So let's finish today's show on a positive note. And I've got a question for you. Are the Rockets a professional basketball team? Because last year they definitely improved. The year before that, I would not have called them an NBA team. I would have called them a G League team. This year, however,
can I have some context to the question? Because they're registered as a team in the NBA, which would suggest that they are a professional basketball team.
This year they are 15-8 in an absolute murderer's row Western Conference. Like, that is an amazing record, and also again far exceeding expectations in my mind.
Are they? And we know how quickly things can change. Not to sound
let's
pessimistic.
talk about right now, though. Let's talk about right now.
Yep. They've started. They've the launch has gone well, to keep with the term of the Rocket side of things.
I like it. I like what you did there.
Yep. They've launched well at the beginning of the season. Let's just hope there's not a crash. I don't know.
Okay.
I think there's still a lot of work for some of those younger players on the roster. I don't have a lot of confidence. I personally didn't see them coming out of the blocks this strong.
No, I did not predict this at all. I wouldn't have thought they would have made the playoffs this year, to be honest. So if they made the playoffs,
I would like to reserve judgment until at least All-Star weekend.
Sure.
But I'd be watching this space kind of thing to see how they progress through the next month. They're doing well.
Last year, what happened was Şengün got injured and Jalen Green played really well. Whereas this year, and then there was the trade talks. Should they move Şengün? Blah, blah. So that happened. This year, actually, they're playing at the same time. They're playing pretty well together. And Jalen Green has been really good. So I think we should start there.
Yeah.
Silver PSA 10 rookie, last sold for $156. If you're looking at the last year, he's down 5%. However, if you zoom in a little bit more to the last 3 months, he's actually down 20% in the last 3 months, which to me is fascinating because I would have thought someone like this, who in my mind was overhyped, overpriced already, I would have thought this is the type of card that would spike up, once someone starts to play well and also the team's playing well. But again, the narrative sometimes is reversed. Now, if we look at the other piece in this pod, Şengün is not on card ladder, so this is from 130point.com.
Yeah.
This sold on the 8th of December, so literally in the last 24 hours. This sold for $152, which is virtually dollar for dollar what Jalen Green is currently selling for, which I think is a really fun thing that you've got two young prospects, very different, sides of the coin. Like, this is like Nikola Jokic versus Kobe Bryant. Sorry, Nikola Jokic versus Kobe Bryant in sort of some, weird way. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got sort of the earthbound guy and you've got this high-flying, guard sort of running around. So
it's true. I don't know. I like Green, but I think Şengün's shown a little bit more, like value-wise.
Yeah, I mean,
he's baby Jokic is been the coined nickname, isn't it?
Like, I personally think it's a fun comparison, but I think that Jokic is so good that it's a little bit insulting also to Jokic. And I'm saying that in a very, jovial sort of way. But I think it's rough to put those two in the same sentence at the same time. There's some comparisons there, but to me, it's very limited.
Yeah,
I actually like the direct comp of Jalen Green to Şengün. Like, that price, which one would you have at this point in time? Would you take the Şengün or would you take the Green?
Ooh, would I take...
Because my suspicion is that the Rockets will go with Green instead of Şengün because defensively, Şengün isn't fantastic.
Yeah.
His rebounding numbers are good. His shot blocking, to me, I don't even know what his numbers are, but at the top of my head, I don't really perceive him as a shot blocking guy. I don't even really perceive him as a rim protector actually at all. So
can you find Şengün on Card Ladder?
yeah.
Or do you have to put it with the accent?
I just Googled his name and copied and pasted that into it.
Okay.
The way his name is spelled is a little bit weird.
That's fair.
Look, what I could imagine is, sort of what similar to the Cavs have got. They've got two athletic big guys up the front, and they've got smaller guards who can score it at the other end, right? Like that pairing to me in Houston makes sense, and particularly with their coaching staff.
Yeah, true.
He likes sort of tough-minded, defensive guys. I actually think, so my prediction would be is that Şengün gets moved on.
You reckon?
Yeah. If they do have to make a choice between the two, I'm completely speculating here just for fun.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Look, I love what Udoka's done here, by the way. I think we have to give him a shout out too. I think this was just what a fantastic hire for the Rockets.
The Rockets are doing incredibly well. And it was, it's still a little bit, it's a surprise. To me, it's a surprise.
Final thoughts, my friend. We're at that hour mark already.
Yeah. Final thoughts, for the Rockets?
You can do the Rockets, you can do anything you like.
Well, let's hope the Rockets maintain their course for their sake. And let's hope that the things start to right themselves in Los Angeles, because I don't like this whole Clippers being the better team in LA thing.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. Let's really quickly talk about our YouTube giveaway. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Once we get to 150 subscribers, we're going to randomize all the names and we're going to give away a box of NBA Revolution Hobby. We were hooked up with that from the boys at Fast Break Trading Cards.
So get everybody in your family to subscribe. Why not? Just get up the subscriptions.
We'd like to do a giveaway. You have to do your part, though, for the giveaway to happen. And as soon as we get to that 150, we're going to do another giveaway. We want to pump up our YouTube channel. So please subscribe, turn off your notifications, turn on your notifications.
Well, you can turn them off. You don't have to have them on. We don't want to.
No, turn them on. We want people to tune in because you've done a lot of good work on there too, Ad. So that's the other thing I want to mention.
Yeah, jump on, like our videos, make comments, give us some feedback. If there's any particular
razz
content,
us a little bit.
If you guys want some content, let us know. If you want us to make specific videos for YouTube,
we will do content on demand. Yeah,
we will. Or on the show and then do it little extra bits on demand.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.